stamping friends, it's Jackie, and I am here to give you some tips and teach you a little bit about the cards that you're making with the Swirly Bird card kit this month. I have to tell you, probably my favorite stamp set in the catalog. It is so versatile. You're only making 4 different cards. However, I think I'm up to about 25 different cards that I've made already with this stamp set, and they all look differently. So make sure you follow my Facebook page and blog to see those, because I will kind of keep posting them, and I'll probably keep stamping and stamping with it. I absolutely love, love, love this bundle. Now, I don't have to really go through and stamp the cards with you, but what I want to do is, actually, I'll give you a little tips on them in just a second. But first, I want to just talk about the stamp set and the Big Shot and how to use these thinlits. So first off, stamp set. As you know, it is a photopolymer, and in case you haven't seen this trick yet from me, what I do with my photopolymer to help me so I don't lose pieces, probably mostly, like these are falling off right now, but I take mine apart, and I don't know if you can see in the video, but underneath my stamp case here is the little plastic sheet that has the images on it. And I have 2 glue dots, one here and one here underneath, and it actually holds that in place. That way I actually stick my stamps right to the stamp case so I can see where they go. I can double check that I have everything. It just makes it really easy for me with working with it. Now you'll notice how pink these all look. If you haven't worked with photopolymer a lot, they stain really bad with your pinks and reds. Most other colors seem to clean off really well, but the pinks and the reds just stain them. So they're clean, they're good, they're well loved. So don't worry about the staining on them. Now, here's our set of thinlits. Now, we're going to talk about this for a second and some of the different things with the Big Shot. So first off, you'll notice in the new catalog, I love what they did back here, where for each of the different types of Big Shot items, okay, and we have these accessories we'll talk about in a second, but primarily, I guess it's not all. Yeah, it's all of them here. They're showing you exactly how to make your sandwich. Now you'll notice the Swirly Bird thinlits fall down here where it is recommended that you'd use the precision base plate. Now the reason is your precision base plate works best, or will help you with any of these very detailed dies. They will help you get a cleaner cut and make those pieces just fall out. It truly does make a difference. Now the other thing that makes a big difference, and I know some of you are wondering, is it worth it or not? But it is to buy the new platform. All Big Shots that are purchased beginning when the catalog started in June, this is the platform it comes with. The platform and then this thin die adapter. It's been redesigned. You can purchase this now on its own if you've had the Big Shot for a while, but honestly, it does make a bigger cut. The way it's been redesigned, there's actually it's raised in the center a little bit, so when it goes through your Big Shot, it gets even pressure across the whole die. And I tried it with this one and the old one, and it truly makes a difference. I never really liked the real detailed dies because I never felt like everything just fell out and I'd have to sit there and poke everything out. And you know me, it's all about quick and easy, and that didn't fall in my quick and easy book. But this makes a difference, and I think that's why I love these dies, and I will use more of these detailed dies a ton. So to do the sandwich for these thinlits, and you can follow the guide right here, it tells you Big Shot platform, thin die adapter, then on top of that goes the precision base plate. This actually is used in lieu of one of your plastic cutting plates. And then you put your cardstock that you're cutting, and where's our little die here? Our die, and then we top it off with what I call the last piece of bread in our sandwich, and that's the next plastic one. So it is now ready to run through the Big Shot. Let's just grab that and go ahead and run it through. Okay, so let's just take the Big Shot away here and take our sandwich apart and see what we have. This is also where our little die brush and pad will come into play. Again, like I said, it's all about making it easy. So we peel that off, and you can see as I'm taking this, I mean, that part just really fell through. Now, you'll usually have some still sticking in there, but all I have to do is put it on my pad here and brush it. Sorry, things are a little bit wobbly there. And look at how those pieces came out. Quite often the whole die will actually pop out. If it doesn't, piercing tool is your other best friend here, and you can just get it started. And you can see how easy that comes out. And look at, not a single piece to have to punch out. There's a few pieces stuck in here. I can either use my die brush or I can come through and just poke them and clean them out. But that's how awesome it works. And it truly is a combination of the precision plate and this new platform. So I do highly recommend that if you haven't purchased them already, you put them on your list. So that is some tips for using the thinlits, especially these detailed ones. You know what? As long as we're talking about the big shot, let's look at one other thing here that's going to come into play with these cards. And I think it is card number, I think it's the last one. You'll see all these little flowers. They're stamped and they're cut out because you have the dies to do that. But a little tip here is this time, instead of using this platform, we want to use the magnetic platform. I know that many of you have this. It's been around for a while, and it is a gem when you are working with stamped images and dies. Because, you know, back before we had this, we'd, you know, go to cut these things out and we would put this where we wanted and it would never stay there. And I can remember using washi tape, using Post-it notes, all sorts of things before I ran it through the big shot. But now they'll go where you place them. Now, a little word of caution, sometimes with these real small images, you know how magnets kind of repel each other? Sometimes you'll set it down and now it won't do it for me, and it won't want to be where it is. So then you just kind of slide this in a different location. But for this one, I stamped a whole bunch of images all at one time. I'd use my magnetic platform, a clear plastic plate, and then I can actually cut out 3 of these at one time. Put them on there. They stay where placed because it's magnetic. Put the top plastic on and just run this through your big shot and come back and do the other ones. Super easy, but again, magnetic platform, it really makes a difference. Okay, let's just talk briefly about each of the cards. Stamping is real basic on these. The first one, we're not using any of the dies. I wanted you to just play with the stamps. The only thing I guess I really want to tell you is when you stamp your leaves, ink it up and stamp it. Move it over and stamp it again without inking in between. That'll give you a little bit of depth in there by getting the different colors. Now, since this stamp set did not come with any greetings, I did tell you which ones I used on my cards. Feel free to use whatever greetings you want to customize these cards to anything. Our little ribbon, it is just laid on there, taped behind the black layer, and then the baker's twine, I just tied it around the ribbon and made a little bow there, and stamp the inside however you want. And don't forget to stamp the envelope. So that's number 1. Number 2, now you will find in your packet you have a half a sheet of white cardstock, and that, well, yeah, I guess I put a half a sheet in there. It's more than you need, but it's your scrap paper for whenever you have to cut out images. You're going to stamp your sailboat on that, and unfortunately there is not a die for it, so get out those handy dandy scissors and cut that out. You're going to cut the waves out of the scrap of denim. Now, when you do the speckles down here for the water, make sure you ink up your stamp and stamp it on scrap paper 2 or 3 or 4 times even. Figure out how to get the shade that you like, because it is a very dark blue, and you want those lights so that your little squiggles show on there. And then also that speckle stamp is on the background here. I just stamped it in the Daffodil Delight on top of the Daffodil Delight to give some texture there. So that's the second one. Here is your third one. Again, you know, kind of a no-brainer. Use whatever words you have. You have 2 strips in your card kit for this. You can cut the ends either using the triple banner punch or your scissors and put it together. This is raised up on dimensionals. I should say on this one also, the sailboat's on dimensionals. Remember, dimensionals are a stamper's crack. Can't do without them. And then 4th card, I did use the wood grain embossing folder. If you don't have that one, any embossing folder will look nice underneath this wreath. So you just have your wreath, all your little pieces. Now, I did not pre-cut these white strips for you because I didn't know what size greeting you had. And so I thought you can cut those yourself out of the half sheet. You know, just cut it 4 inches wide, and or Yeah, 4 inches this way and however wide you need it based on the grading you have. But that's it. I hope you guys love this bundle, the stamp set, as much as I do. And like I said, don't just make these 4 cards and put it away. This is going to be a go-to set that I am sure you're going to use over and over. Follow my blog, my Facebook page for lots more ideas to come. And as always, if you have any questions, make sure you ask me. I'm here to help you any way I can. Other than that, I'll see you in the mail. Have a stamp happy day, guys.